Chapter 14, Banned by a Filthy Rat. I'm gonna try and make this brief, cause I already feel like a panic attack is coming on. Just thinking about it all. Here goes though. We made this dope ass album and handed it in to Hollywood. The album with superstars all over it. The album with the best production, up to date, that Mikey Clark and ICP had ever done together. The album was the mighty fourth Joker's card, The Illusionist, The Great Malenko. 2 weeks later, Julian flew to Detroit for a special meeting. We didn't know what it was about. We just knew it was very, very important. Suspense music, please. He was staying at a hotel in downtown Detroit, so Joey, Alex, and I met him down there. Right when he opened the door, we could tell he was bummed out. He was fucking sad. This wasn't the same Julian. The first thing he said to us was, "This may be the last time I'm alive." "Why?" I asked. "You guys are gonna kill me." We sat down and he handed us the lyrics to the entire album, typed up, sheets of lyrics. Pretty much every song had some of the lyrics highlighted in bright yellow. 3 of the songs were crossed right the fuck out. We couldn't believe what we were seeing. The lyrics to our album, The Great Malenko, typed up, and some of them yellowed out with a fucking highlighter. What does this mean? Before I even knew what the meeting was about, everything crushed right back down to ICP versus the record label. Julian explained to Joey, Alex, and I that the Disney people had to review the album before it came out, and they wanted the 3 songs taken off and highlighted lyrics changed before the record would be given a release date. We couldn't fucking believe it. Right at that moment, I looked at Julian and realized he was just another record label ninja. As cool as he was a record label ninja. That's what put dollars in his wallet, being a record label ninja. For the first time, we looked at Julian as an enemy. At that moment, he was our enemy, delivering the stale-ass news that we had to censor the mighty Great Malenko or it would never be given a release date. When we were on Jive and he was talking to us about coming to Hollywood Records, he took us to WrestleMania and they gave us these sweet ass seats. We were sitting with the fucking wrestlers watching WrestleMania. They were being so good to us before we signed that contract. All that shit. All they ever talked about was how Disney would never censor us, how they have nothing to do with the music that Hollywood Records puts out. Yes, they're owned by Disney, but Hollywood Records is free to put out whatever type music they choose, just like everything else Disney owns. They may own it, they may keep the money from it, but they let those companies run how they will in order to make the most money. Now here he was with a handful of lyrics and crossed out songs telling us to change our shit. Mind you, we did not record this album on a computer where you could just go in, click in, and fix it. We weren't recording out in LA or New York. We were recording in Mike's basement, so we didn't even have a knob position written down. We had to straight up remix the whole entire fucking album in order to change the lyrics. This was way before Pro Tools again. This was fucking hard shit to deal with. I asked him flat the fuck out, what if we refuse to change it? Well, Julian said, they're not gonna release the record. Well, I replied, fuck you, we ain't changing shit. That's fuck you, we ain't changing shit. That was it. We left. We sat twiddling our thumbs for a fucking month and nothing changed. We didn't budge and they didn't budge. Eventually, Hollywood was prepared to say, fuck it, the record's never coming out, and just eat their losses. After all, how much did they spend on us? Fucking pennies compared to the size of Mickey Mouse's fucking wallet. Mickey Mouse's wallet is thicker than a fucking penis halfway in Janet Jackson's ass. I'm so fucking disgusting. Alex called the meeting. I laid it out. Man, We can't let our career end. We got all these stars all over this record. Let's just make the changes, man. Fuck it. So what we did was use the same exact lyrics, just with ghetto slang in place of the violence. Instead of sawed-off shotgun, we said sawed-off bucket. Blew his fucking tongue out the back of his cranium became I pulled his fucking tongue out the back of his cranium. Somehow, that was okay with the old men at Disney. Half of the shit they wanted changed, we didn't even bother to change, and it still made it somehow through the second time they listened to it. We said, fuck it, let's just run it through again and see if they notice it. They didn't. They were too old and too dumb and too rich. We left them just like they were, and for some reason, they cleared the record the second time around. We changed a couple things, and in my opinion, we made them fresher than what they were in the first place. The rest we left alone, but Hollywood Records didn't notice anything. That's the stupidity of corporate record companies. The same stupidity of a radio station that flips the word shit to this. What the fuck? Who the fuck out there doesn't know what this really means? You might as well say it. Everybody's saying shit in their head anyway, so what the fuck's the point of reversing it? Anyway, we finally got a release date, minus 3 fucking songs. Under the Moon, Boogie Woogie Woo, and The Netting Game had to be taken off the fucking record, and that sucked badly, cause we loved those fucking songs, and they were essential tools to the 4th Joker's card, but we had to let them go, or the card never would have saw the light of day. We had our first major national tour booked now, with Michael Wood as our booking agent. He was the same guy who seen us throwing Faygo everywhere and decided it would be a good idea for us to play with Ika Mouse in New York. He was clearly crazy. Michael Wood was at a new agency now, so he booked us a whole national tour, 30 cities. It would be promoted right. Hollywood promised. Tour buses and everything. No more changing out of our Faygo-drenched clothes in those cold-ass vans anymore. No more having to eat a whole pack of NyQuil gel caps just to fall asleep in the cold. Now I'd be able to eat my NyQuils in comfort of a real tour bus. It was going down. Our very first national tour. We needed some opening acts to go on before us. First, we looked toward Detroit's local music scene to see who was worthy as the opening act. Boom! Perfect! That one kind of E-Sham ripoff group called the House of Crazies. They'd been making some noise in the D. We called them up. We talked for a while and we reached a deal. We let them open the show every night on the condition that they double as our roadies. Of course, we paid them well for their work, and they could sell their merchandise at the shows. They'd come a long way from throwing our flyers out in the garbage, and to be honest, who the fuck else could put up with all that Faygo madness? House of Crazies were down with it all. My brother had a girlfriend from the army named Nancy, and she had a brother who was a rapper named Misery. We talked to him for a couple weeks as well, and we reached the same agreement. Misery and his hype man Poncho would also perform every night, and double as our roadies too. That was the tour. It was all booked and ready to boogie. First, we had an in-store tour to do, a whole month just to sign autographs at record stores. We were going to do that right too. We were going to promote the fuck out of the 4th Joker's card, the Great Malenko. Billy went all out for this shit. He had a special booth built to be built up in the record stores. It was like our very own little haunted house. It had a roof with black lights and a giant Malenko face on the back wall. There were stars all over the walls, and they were all aglow once you stepped inside its dark interior. It was actually 4 walls, a ceiling, and a lot of shiny streamers that we would bring and set up right inside the record stores. Juggalos would line up and be let in 5 at a time, while Joey and I would be sitting under the black lights, signing 2 liters and 2 titties all night long. Many times the cops would threaten to shut down the in-stores because the energy of the Juggalos would seem almost out of control, frenzied, if you will, or if you won't even. The power of the Juggalo army prevailed, and not one one city was brave enough to try to suffer the consequences of shutting down the madness while it was happening. The Fago was flying, topless girls were dancing on cars, and ICP chants were heard miles away while the cops just stood there across the street looking pissed off about it all. As soon as the month-long in-store tour was done, we were going to start our big concert tour. Like Julian said, we were done paying dues. They were paying dues now for us. We just had to go out there and make it happen. Hollywood kicked in the big-ass budget for the video for Halls of Illusions. They gave us something like $250,000, which I know ain't shit for those of you into $1 Million Jay-Z videos, but to us, that shit was as much as our whole record deal. This was back in the day when they would actually have to spend 250 grand on making a video. Today you can whip out your iPhone, edit it together real quick on a program you can buy for 30 bucks and fucking do it all yourself in your bedroom. Bam, you got a fucking video. Just look at Slim Jesus. We came up with our own script for the video where this guy goes through this carnival ride. By the time we got out to LA to film it, they had a whole haunted carnival set built for us on this big ass sound stage. It seemed kind of weird for Joey and I because having other people design carnival style shit for us seemed fake. Only us, we as psychopathic, can truly describe the dark carnival. They'd even hired all these real actors to be in it. Oh yeah, don't think me and any of my homies got any netted on the set, because like I mentioned before, it's just not possible. We sure as fuck tried, but we failed miserably. All those chicks on video sets or photo shoot sets, any kind of fucking set in Hollywood or New York, all those chicks ain't giving up shit. We tried too. All our homies tried. And all we got was stuck up fucking noses from them motherfucking Java cappuccino sipping, fucking book reading, fancy fucking word talking, turtleneck sweater, neck choking, fucking painted up mannequin face looking, fake titty fucking college alternative radio bitches. And no Slash. Julian told me that the record label didn't want him in the video because they didn't feel he represented what we were about. We were like, fuck that. Slash represents Michael Jackson. He can represent ICP any time of the day. I thought that was bullshit because Slash is the shit. I had to find this out after we had already changed the lyrics and everything. I was starting to hate Hollywood records. Whatever. Halls of Illusion shot to #1 on the Box Video Request channel. Damn, I missed the Box Video Request channel. If you never saw the Box, it was a cable channel across inner cities across America. You could rent a video. You could pick your phone up and call and punch in a certain number for a video you wanted, and they charge you $250 and you could see the fucking video. And our shit was always on the Box. We got mad play on the Box. I remember chicken hunting in Detroit. Non-stop on the Box. Over and over it would play. It felt so good knowing people were out there calling in, renting a video in my area, because I remember seeing fucking chicken hunting, and I sure as hell remember seeing Halls of Illusions all over the Box Video Request channel. Bring the Box back, motherfuckers. Stores could officially start selling the Great Malenko at 12:01 a.m. in the morning of Tuesday, June 24th, 1997. All the Harmony House record stores in the Detroit area stayed open late till midnight, Monday night, to start selling it. And we had an in-store at the Harmony House in Sterling Heights, north of Detroit, where we were going to debut our autograph shack. Driving up to Sterling Heights, I was high as hell on Karma. Man, the album comes out at midnight tonight, y'all. All the Harmony Houses are staying open till midnight. This is the one. This is it. Our video's #1 on the Box. It's over with. We're fucking growing huge now. Once we got there, just pure clown love. A humongous crowd was outside. Thousands of juggalos. It was the absolute biggest in-store we had ever done at that point. We didn't get to bed until 8 the next morning. Bam! The Great Malenko was now officially released. We got up at 4 the next afternoon. Another in-store at Harmony House across town in Taylor, Michigan. Weirdly enough, near where my sister used to live. We got there and the place was packed. 1,000 juggalos strong, waiting for us, all of them. We grabbed our Sharpies, headed into our fresh in-store booth, built right inside the record store, and started signing autographs. We're on our way. This is it, I thought. It was crazy back then signing autographs. It was so crazy hearing all those compliments and hearing all those people who appreciated everything we did. It's so weird just to move a number and you don't know who it's going to or what their faces look like, what their voices are like, what their personalities are like. But when you go out there and you actually meet the people who support your music, you hear their voices, you feel their personalities, you realize they're just like you. We all have something in common. We're all fucking scrubs. We're all actually floobs at heart. Even if you're rich, even if you're a success, even if you dress nice, you can still be a scrub at heart. And a scrub, all these juggalos were. It was awesome. Then Billy came into the booth. Joe, we gotta hold the line off. Julian and Alex are here and they want to talk to you, and they have to talk to you right now. It's very important. Okay, whatever, dog, I said. Into the booth that we made for the juggalos walked Julian with his wife Dory, Alex, and this local guy who worked for the record distributor in Detroit. Alex just looked retarded. Something was on his face that made him look stupider than he already looked. One of his eyes was open wide and the other was shut and crooked, like he just saw a busload of nuns moon him or something. The local guy was just glassy-eyed, like he was starting to cry. I'm serious. This guy was fucking glassing up on me. Julian finally began to speak. I don't know any other way to tell you guys this, but Hollywood pulled the records from all the record stores in the nation today. They pulled it out of all the stores nationwide, and they're gonna drop the band. I'm sorry, but your tour has been canceled. Your in-store tour is canceled as well. I just had to come flat out and tell you. There's no other way to tell you this other than just to say it. Alex just stared blankly with his one eye open, looking off into space. They just sat there and looked at us for a minute. All right, I said. Well, get out of here so we can at least finish this in-store. Obviously, we were still high as hell from the in-store that lasted until fucking 8 in the morning the night before, and now the 1,000 juggalos waiting to meet us here, and the big giant posters for ICP everywhere, our fresh in-store haunted house booth. It just seemed like nothing could bring us down. What Julian just told us didn't register. We knew what he said, but we couldn't understand, and we didn't even begin to try to fathom it. Like I said, we learned when we signed a jive that juggalos just want your record. They don't give a fuck about that record label bullshit. At that point, neither did we. After the in-store ended that night, I just went home, took my entire box of NyQuil pills, and went to bed. Which, by the way, is not a good fucking habit. I no longer have it. I used to love it though. I loved it so much. I loved to drink it. I loved to swallow the pills. I just loved NyQuil. Robitussin sucks though. The next morning, what was happening finally hit me. I woke up, sat up, and realized I'm not in the tour bus going to another in-store. I realized what was going on. The in-store tour was over. I wasn't going on the concert tour. And I didn't have anything to do that day. There was nothing we could do. For the first time since we started this band years ago, I didn't have anything to do. Think about it. Why promote? Promote for what? There's no album. We could hit the studio, but we just finished an album. Joey and I showed up at the office. Alex was already there, still stunned.
I don't know what to tell you guys. The album's not in stores. Some of the independent stores are refusing to send it back at least, but it's been pulled out of all the malls and all the chain stores everywhere. It's pretty much nowhere. Hollywood ended all promotions. All the commercials on MTV have been pulled. Everything's over. The radio spots, gone. All the magazine ads were canceled. Everything gone. Here, take this money,
he said, and he gave us $10,000.
Go away. You guys just go on vacation or something. Go anywhere. Just go away because I seriously don't know what to tell you and I don't know what to say right now.
Alex was seriously hurt. He was hurt inside just like us. None of us knew what to do. Alex just gave us 10 grand because he didn't give a fuck at that moment or he wouldn't have gave us fucking 10 bucks. But he gave us $10,000 and told us to go away and go on vacation. Just get the fuck out of here because he can't face us right now and he doesn't know what to do. I remember that day vividly, very fucking clearly, like it was yesterday. We were all pretty much in a state of shock, but we managed to get in my car and start headed down to Virginia Beach. I'm not really that sure, but I think the plan was to just head down south and leave the music world behind for a few days. We stopped off in Canton, Ohio because Joey knew some girls there. I was so out of it, I started talking to one of them. Do you know our new album came out?
Yeah.
Did you get it?
Not yet.
Well, you better get it because it's getting pulled out of all the stores.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we spent all that time recording that album and it was out half a day and then it was yanked out of the stores and off the shelves. Our tour was canceled, our in-store tour canceled, everything we had canceled, our video was yanked, everything was fucking yanked.
Oh, yeah?
See, if we were somebody famous, this would have been huge news. But for us, it meant nothing to nobody anywhere. You have no idea how major what I'm telling you is. But it is. It's an incredible bone. The worst thing that could ever happen to a band just happened to us. She didn't give a fuck. She didn't want to hear my record company bullshit. She didn't understand anything I was saying. Oh, and by the way, one of her titties was smaller than the other. Not that there's anything wrong with that at all. I'm just making a point so that I'm being more descriptive and honest about what was going on. All right? I happen to like small titties and big ones, so I didn't mind the combination, all right? The next morning, we headed into Virginia and stopped at a Denny's for breakfast. I left Joey and Billy at the table and went to call Alex on the payphone. Remember those? Yes. You put fucking quarters into it, or you make a collect call. You don't know about that shit. You computer tech savvy ninjas today got cell phones in your fucking watches, cameras in your necklaces, all that crazy tech shit. Alex, it's me.
Joe, shit! You guys get back to Detroit as fast as you can!
Why? I screamed.
'Cause we're all over the news! Right now outside of our office, channel 2, 4, and 7 are all here. Rich is outside talking to him. I just got back from talking to CNN. We already got calls from Spin and Rolling Stone magazine wanting to talk to us. Every fucking record company is also calling, trying to sign us.
I thought Alex was on fucking crack. Explain to me how this happened.
Last night, I called the LA Times.
Alex laid it out to me, and I'm gonna explain the whole deal in a minute. In short, though, the deal was this. At the time, back then in '97, Disney was being boycotted by the Southern Baptists for allowing gay marriage and not upholding family values according to them. Therefore, Disney made an attempt to hide everything they were doing that wasn't considered family-oriented. Not because they didn't like it, but because they wanted to shut the Baptists up. I guess there are millions Southern Baptists in America, and they were all boycotting Disney, which meant a major chunk of profit was about to be taken out of their asses. So Disney tried to cover up everything controversial, everything that wasn't family-like. That's why they yanked us out of stores. Alex had called the LA Times the night before and said,
I have a story. I'm the manager of a rap group called Insane Clown Posse from Detroit. We were signed to Hollywood Records, which is owned by the Disney Corporation. Well, Disney is getting in all this trouble with Southern Baptists, so they pulled our album out of stores the day of its release, trying to act like they never had their hand in our cookie jar. Disney was trying to pretend they had nothing to do with us. That's why they tried to yank us and bury us before anybody noticed that Disney had put out something as crude as ICP through their Hollywood Records division. They knew all along what we were about, and they were trying to get paid off the wicked shit too, but they had to hide that as quick as they could, so they yanked us off shelves.
Alex told the LA Times the whole story. Well, maybe not in those exact words, but you get the point. The LA Times hung up and called Alex back 10 minutes later.
It's gonna be on the front page of tomorrow's paper,
is what they said. The next morning, hell yeah, it was on the cover of the LA Times and all over the Associated Press wire. We punched it back to Detroit, and every time we turned on the news, we heard the story. We saw the story everywhere. In an apparent move to appease a powerful group of Southern Baptists, Disney severed all ties with controversial rap group Insane Clown Posse a day after releasing the group's debut album on Hollywood Records, spurring questions about all that shit. We couldn't believe it. We knew it really wasn't about us, though. It was about Disney trying to have their mouse cake and eat it too. The only way I can explain it is that it was like you heard a close family member died, then 2 days later, you only find out they didn't really die, and you feel twice as good as you did about them before. I floored it. Right around Toledo, the weirdest thing happened. Something only the Dark Carnival could have laid on us. We found ourselves stuck in a traffic jam. Check it. Look at that, man. That car's got an ICP sticker. Yo, check out those ninjas in face paint over there. Holy shit. Holy shit. I remembered that day we were supposed to have done an in-store in Toledo, and it was canceled, obviously, but now we were trapped with all these pissed off juggalos in a traffic jam. Billy and Joey and I, without our makeup, were stuck in the middle of this traffic jam, surrounded by carloads of juggalos. All of a sudden, some recognized us and started honking at us. Pretty soon, 3 carloads of juggalos were giving us a clown escort back to Detroit. Actually, they were hound dogging the fuck out of us, but those crazy motherfuckers kept up. I was punching it too, cutting through suburbs, everything, trying to lose them. Nothing worked. They were all on our tail, hot pursuit style. When we finally got back to the office, the ninjas following us were the least of our worries. News trucks were everywhere. Alex, Rich, Rudy, and my brother were doing as many fucking interviews as they could. This was a crazy time. This shit blew up in the press. I'll never forget it. News trucks, radio stations, every show wanted to interview us. It was just the craziest time of my life. Alex saw me and ditched the news crew and ran up to me.
We leave for LA tomorrow. Interscope Records wants to sign us. Jimmy Iovine put in the call himself. They want us out in LA by this time tomorrow.
I was still dazed.
Look, Joe, go home. I have to finish up here. I'll send the biggest interviews to you at your house.
So I went home and did some interviews. As usual, it was a lot of, why do you say the things you say in your lyrics? As usual, I answered, because we don't give a fuck. Fuck you if you don't like it. Eat a dick and lick out the dick hole. All I did was shoot my mouth off. Fuck you. Fuck Disney. ICP will never die. All the interviewers asked the same questions. So how does it feel? Yesterday nobody knew who you are, and now you're making headlines all across the country. I answered every one of them the same. Our last album sold 100,000 copies on the underground. That doesn't sound like we're nobodies to me, motherfucker. You might not have known who the fuck ICP is, because all you do is write about bullshit. But the underground always have known who ICP is. I was just trying to defend our name. At the airport the next day on our way to LA, this lady from Spin magazine interviewed me. All right, what about this lyric from the song, What is a Juggalo? I mean, dip my nuts in your soup? Bloop? What does that mean? I got really mad. Come on, it was just the stupidest fucking question. Exactly how it fucking sounds. I'll dip my fucking balls in your warm soup because I don't give a fuck about you, I said. Then I let her have it. What do you want me to do? Try to make up some excuse for that lyric? It's fucking entertainment. That's what it is. It might not be entertainment for you. It might not be entertainment for Disney, but they came to us. Remember? So fuck off! The Shaggy Too Dope Guide to Crime.
The cars that go boom. The whole car stereo thing, this is easy. You just open a car door. Now listen, this is for the people who like to think they're safer by bolting down the car stereos to the dash and shit. A lot of times, this shit is too hard to steal. It's like you get so pissed off, you just kick the whole fucking dashboard in and leave it like that. That's why, like, whenever I get my car broken into, I don't even get mad, cause I know I have it coming. Unless somebody kicks my fucking dashboard in, then I wanna kill them. So I never bolt or chain my stereo in. The way I look at it, if the crook can get in the car, then the stereo is theirs to keep. I must have taken 10,000 car stereos back in the day. You just always have to have a lookout man on the corner. We'll park our car on the corner and hit every fucking house on the block. Go out at like 2 in the morning to like 5 in the morning, and you just come home with like at least 20 radios and fucking 10 sets of speakers. Fucking back in the day when EQs were actually used, we would make sure to take those. The EQs were the easiest because they were mounted on the bottom and you just rip them off, you know? If you break the fucking wires, there's always somebody who knows how to solder that shit and splice it back so you sell it for less. That's all. $20 for a fucking Kenwood ain't bad, you know? Pullouts always suck to steal. If you stole the pullout, they are always hard to sell because you needed the fucking chassis for them, and the chassis was a bitch to get out. You had to kick the whole fucking dashboard in to get those. Once again, people are thinking that they're smarter by getting a pull-out stereo, and yet they end up needing a whole new fucking car over that shit. If you did get the fucking pull-out and the fucking sleeve for it, you could get a couple $100 for those things. They were definitely the shit. We were so stupid about it. I don't understand how we didn't get caught, you know? Like there'd be guys in the garage working on a car, and somehow we'd fucking go into the fucking driveway 20 feet away from them, sneak in their car and steal all their shit while they're in the garage. I didn't know what the fuck we were thinking. Cancer sticks. We used to have the carton tactic because teenagers all smoke. There's actually 2 different places that we go to get cartons. One of them was Meijer's, which is a 24-hour department store that has 2 main entrances. They used to have a back door, and for some stupid reason, the retards would leave all the fucking cartons right by the fucking back door. So we go there at like fucking 2 in the morning and just shove 20 fucking cartons down our pants and walk out the fucking door. Actually, when Sega Genesises first came out, I managed to steal like 3 of those fucking things from Meijer's. Meijer's was a spot for late night tactics. It was all about Meijer's and stealing car radios. The buffet. Have you ever gone grocery shopping with your mom? Tell me you don't ever grab yourself a little something and then run over to the other aisle, open it up and eat it right quick. Of course you did. So this is nothing new to you. One thing I can tell you about big supermarkets, sure they have some theft going on, but hardly any. It's mostly moms and old ladies pushing around shopping carts and being ultra polite to each other. You can head up there and nobody will even keep an eye on you. You just get a cart and a list like you're looking for some shit and go buck wild. Fucking $40 steaks, cheese, $8 boxes of fucking cereal, and all that good shit. Fuck going hungry if there ain't shit in your cupboards. You think Farmer Jack himself needs all that shit up in his cupboards? Out of all the places I've ever plucked shit out of, grocery stores are ranked up top as one of the easiest. Picture the scene. Scrubs like us hanging out, barbecuing $40 steaks, and not even finishing them, cause we got 7 more in the freezer. That's the fucking shit. Just have some chick come over and cook some shit up for you and your boys later. If you're too young to drink, you just pluck a bottle of a little something. Make sure it's liquor and not some gay-ass wine. Even if you do buy something, right there while she's ringing it up, you could be housing mad candy bars and gum. Look who works at a supermarket anyways, nothing but ladies and young high school ninjas. If there's some kid in your aisle working there and pricing canned food or something, go ahead and float you some shit. Don't even worry about it. If he sees you, chances are he ain't gonna be stale enough to say something. If he acts like he's gonna, just tell him if he does, your boys will come up there and whip his ass before he even gets off work that night.